My name's Paul Stacy, and I'm the Automotive Director for LexisNexis Risk. My patch is EMEA, or Europe, and the UK. So my topic is connected car data, usage-based insurance and advanced driver assistance systems. So, by 2025, we believe that every single new vehicle will be connected. By 2025, we believe that the connected car data marketplace for the insurance vertical will be worth $5 billion. Why do we believe that? Because of our learnings from aftermarket UBI and telematics in Italy and the UK. So it's a big area, a big opportunity, and something that we're extremely excited by. What's my topic today? My topic today is about getting data directly from vehicle manufacturers. And how is that data going to come into us? It's going to come into us in a raw form. We're going to get huge data files containing GPS-based data, containing build sheet-based data. So we take all that raw data in, and then we create attributes from that data. Now, some of these attributes might be custom attributes that our insurance partners ask us to calculate, and some of them might be attributes that are freely available to the whole marketplace. From those attributes, we then create scores. And again, we can hold custom scoring models for insurers in each marketplace in Europe. Now, these scores is what we use at point of quote, and that's what's built into your underwriting decisions and your pricing calculations. We have built a telematics exchange that solves what we believe to be a many-to-many problem. There are hundreds of insurers in Europe, and there's at least 15 OEMs in Europe with hundreds of brands. So we've got a many-to-many problem. Data comes in to us from the OEMs in many different formats. They have different names for different features. All of this data needs to be regularized, it needs to be scrubbed, filtered, normalized. And we need to apply analytics to that data to provide a consistent product that can be used at point of quote to the many insurers. It's a many-to-many problem. This sort of industry challenge lends itself very nicely to a third party, a neutral server that provides an exchange service. Now, we're not going to be the only exchange database. There'll be many others, but we have an aspiration to solve the many-to-many problem. We've got a strong pipeline, and we've got great engagement from vehicle manufacturers. But there's been a lot of lessons learned. Vehicle manufacturers are big, complicated companies. They're typically structured in three different entities. You have the company that makes the cars, does the procurement, and controls the distribution. You've got another company that deals with all the aftermarket parts, servicing and repairs, and you've got a third company that's authorized and regulated that handles the leasing and the insurance relationships. Now, these three silos are typically three different companies within an OEM, and each silo has its own digital and connected car team. So our challenge is to talk to every silo, bring them together, and satisfy their requirements for their data. It's quite challenging. The other lesson we've learned is that GDPR is relatively new for vehicle manufacturers. It came in last year, and it's not something that that they're not used to heavily regulated data environments, and they're learning about what consents and what legitimate interest processes they need to go through in order to contract with us to have their customers benefit from this data. So we've learned that it's complex, and talking to vehicle manufacturers takes patience and it takes time. So the main purpose of this presentation is to go through two product categories. The first is vehicle build. So vehicle build would include advanced driver assistance data. And the second product category is usage-based insurance, or UBI. I'm going to focus on advanced driver assistance, or ADAS features. And what do I mean by that? I mean forward collision warning, adaptive cruise control. These are the features that many of you will have in your cars today, but they're not actually being used as part of your insurance quotation because insurers aren't able to get this information the way they need it at point of quote to use it. Our challenge is to bring this data to the insurance marketplaces. Now, there's three levels of data. Without going into too much detail, the level of data that we would like to get to directly from the vehicle manufacturer is the VIN level data. This is the DNA of the car. This is exactly what the car has on it, and every car is different. Of course, we may contract with third parties initially to get level 2 data, but ultimately we'd like to get the data directly from vehicle manufacturers because of the quality and the granularity. Now, we did an interesting study in the US involving 12 million vehicles, not claims, vehicles. And we wanted to assess the impact that advanced driver assistance features were having on frequencies. So less than 1, obviously, it's lowering frequency. And what we found is that indeed these safety systems are having a material impact on reducing accident frequency. As the name suggests, advanced driver assistance features, they are preventing accidents and reducing severity. This is actually working. Now, obviously, these features are going to interact with each other, so you can't just take this one-way analysis and add it up and say, hey, if it's got 6 ADAS features, there is no risk. They do interact, but it did show us that there is something very exciting here. The other learning that we had is that the ADAS systems don't perform uniformly across different makes and models. Some manufacturers are doing a better job, and the technology seems to matter as well. The type of systems that are used and the way it's fed back to the driver makes a material impact into how good this feature is in reducing frequencies. So what we know today is that ADAS is out there already. Most new vehicles have at least 2 advanced driver assistance features on them, and about 60% of the car park has advanced driver assistance systems. We think that this is going to evolve over time. We think that eventually from the connected car, we'll start to get frequencies at which these systems are being triggered per mile, etc., and that's going to feed back into UBI. And so we're creating 4 products. Now, 2 products relevant for the UK is obviously an ADAS safety score and an ADAS feature build set. And they're the 2 products that we're aiming to get out into the marketplace by the end of this year. So, why should insurers look at advanced driver assistance data from LexisNexis Risk? Well, it's a pay-to-play model, and we think that this is going to tell you something new, and it's going to have a material impact on rating in the future. it was also something that a customer is invested in, and so it could have a good underwriting effect as well. We also believe that this data point, explicit consent is not required at point of quote, so we can use legitimate interest if we encrypt the VIN number and process depersonalized data. So that makes it a lot easier to bring to market at point of quote. And where is ADAS leading us? Well, it's leading us to autonomous vehicles, driverless cars. And I read an interesting KPMG autonomous readiness index, and it ranked UK as 5th in the world. There's been some fantastic legislation that's been pushed through the Department of Transport last month, and that enables us to have driverless cars on UK roads in certain corridors. But what's going to hold the UK back, and why we're not number 1, we're number 5, is we have complex roads with lots of potholes in them, apparently, and we have poor 4G coverage. So they're the elements that we need to work on for autonomous vehicles to become more of a reality. So in summary, we're aiming to complete or have available retro analyses for insurers in the UK towards the end of the year, Q3, and we're hoping to have a minimum viable product in the marketplace at point of quote early next year. That pretty much concludes my presentation. Thanks very much for listening, and if you've got any questions, please get in touch. Thank you.